Community empowerment refers to the process of enabling communities to increase control over their lives. Community empowerment refers to the process of enabling communities to increase control over their lives. It addresses social, cultural, political, and economic determinants that underpin health and seeks to build partnerships with other sectors in finding solutions. It recognizes and strategically acts upon the interlinkage or globalization and ensures that power is shared at both local and global levels. Before I go any further, I believe all of us come from different communities. And in these different communities, how would you empower your community? Or how would you enable members in your community to be empowered, to be to start benefiting global wise? Because here we are looking at globalization depending from the community empowerment part of it. Remember, in our community we have so many people. We have the LC, we have this, all those sectors. So here they're telling us that it recognizes and strategically acts upon the globalization and ensures that power is shared at both local and global levels. There is mm, an interlinkage between the local community and the global community. What our elders or leaders in the local community get is what they will come up with in these board meetings in the government, and they share with us, and that's how we become global. Like, I'm being honest, because when we are meeting with our LC people or our leaders at the local council area scenarios, they normally sit us down and they ask us what or how do you want us to assist you, and we share our thoughts about it. With that, they take it to their leaders, and these are the leaders in the governments who talk to us to, or who talk to them in using them as intermediaries. So here they're saying communication that encourages discussion and debate resulting in increased knowledge awareness. We are saying that communication that encourages decision and debate resulting in increased knowledge and awareness, i.e., communities are able to make their own decisions because every person has a way, every community knows what their problem they are facing, and their leaders know how to handle it, how through their ideas of the community members they share on board. And they're saying, what are the ways, how can you empower your own community? Because I asked it in the while I was talking about community empowerment, the first like talkings, I was like, how do you empower your community out there? And I didn't say, wait, we can do so, but I believe people know how they empower their community members out there. And I was saying that we provide skills or leadership training and job network to the youth. That is how we empower our communities. Provide a skill to the community. At the end of the day, our community is mostly made up of the youth, because the youth are more energetic, more creative, more innovative, and assertive. You see, besides being aggressive, because by the time the youth become aggressive, you are taking advantage of them, you are manipulating them, you are not even doing for them what they want. So the aggressive part is like a by the way. But what am I trying to say? They are telling us that provide skills or leadership training and job network to the youth. The youth are creative, energetic, innovative, besides them being aggressive. So when you're in a community, always take advantage of the youth in a good way, not a bad way, because the moment they realize you're taking advantage of them in a bad way, they will become aggressive in a bad way too, and you won't like it, because for them there are so many, they are so, you see, they know their way, the inside out of their communities. So the moment you start manipulating them or taking advantage of them, they'll show you the other part of it. I'm not saying that I'm supporting them, I'm just trying to show you the other picture of it in case you do something against them. And they're saying provide micro loans, financially trusted training to women entrepreneurs. You, by the way, to some extent, I believe this community empowering, most people haven't been doing it like the way I researched about it, because very few people know about this provision of loans or financial assistance to to people who are entrepreneurs in communities, you find that there are communities which are able to come up with job creating, but they lack what? Money as capital investment. So if you have some capital investment in terms of loans, you can loan it out and you be there to supervise these people, because at the end of the day, that money will be brought back in one way or the other. And I'm saying that identify local barriers to agriculture opportunities. Identify local barriers to agriculture opportunities. Are there any barriers that are stopping your farming activities, like because you see, you go to the garden, you farm, you harvest, then you store, you package. Then if there is any barrier about that, where you cannot export in, import in, try to find those barriers, find a solution to those barriers. Because most times, like in the previous years, most of our people were depending on agricultural farming for survival. So if there are any local barriers to agriculture opportunities, find a solution to them. Talk to your community people, talk to the farmers of that community, tell them, what are you facing? Our food stuff, we are eating food here, but we are not getting money from this food stuff. What could be the problem? Why aren't you exporting it? Why aren't we importing certain things here? What is this? You inquire, because some of them may be illiterate about it. And for you, if you have the knowledge, you share it with them in a good way. Because at the end of the day, we need to find people that they are feeling fair about the system you're going to apply onto them. Fairness in a system can make people get motivated and empowered to be active and participants. But if you come up with your system which is unfair, unjust, also these people, much as you might think they are illiterate, I just said probably they might be when they're not knowing the barriers in the agricultural sectors. So if they're illiterate, don't take advantage of them. Try to inquire from them. Ask them, what could be the problem? We don't have this exportation, this importation anymore. But it's good, our community, we have food, we have enough food, we have this. And they share their ideas with you, or they share the barriers with you, and are saying a neighborhood may bind together and form groups to pick up litter, to help clean, and this boosts improvement on health and safety of the community. And speaking of a neighborhood, like for example, in my years when I was still a child, we had our LC, like for our village. He could like wake up and start drumming a drum. You see, it was a way of communication. You see, long ago, before I was born, they could say drumming was part of communicating to community members or people in an area. But this guy could wake up with his people, they could drum and drum and drum. Now, the mature people by that time, they could tell us they want us to do community cleaning. And here they're saying that in a neighborhood, you might find a group of people together, and they come up with an idea of picking that litter, that rubbish you throw around. And this rubbish, well, the more you pick it up, this will boost improvement on health and safety of the community, because at the end of the day, what you have used and you throw it on the ground, it will be contaminated by the bacteria and the germs on the soil or on the ground. At the end of the day, that very bacteria that has contaminated what you have thrown on the ground is coming back to you in one way or the other. Maybe through the rainwater or the running water that is getting into your taps, or the little children who are reckless in a funny way. You find them picking it, eating it up. So let me go back to this example. So this guy could drum and drum and drum, and these people could wake up and clean. And in case you could do the surveillance and finds any place that he would tell people, I have been drumming for you to wake up and clean. So it was a way of communicating to us that wake up and clean, and it was good, because the moment you hear that drum, he could drum non-stop, like maybe for 2 or 3 hours, but in different areas, moving up and down. So he was doing a very good job for us. It was kind of funny, but it was still in the 90s, like 1996, 97, 95, around that time period. Of course, people are still not having phones. By that time, phones were not so common like today, you see. And the first phones were like bricks, like brick-like, so big, so funny, but you could find that whoever was possessing it, they were bragging about it. Yes, I'm having a phone. Yeah, it was good, because for me, by that time, I didn't have one. Though I was young, even my parents didn't have one by that time. But this LC man could use that method of drumming, and you could wake up, you could find parents, grown-ups organizing, mopping, scrubbing, sweeping, and everything was good. So even here, they're encouraging us to do this communal cleanliness, like wake up, encourage people to pick litter, to sanitize, to do all that, because we are trying to improve on our health. Because at the end of the day, the same rubbish we are littering in on the ground will flow in the waters we drink, or in the water we drink. Let's leave that point alone. So another point is, when our community is rebuilding after a disaster, but anytime a community is facing, it's important to know that when a community is rebuilding after a disaster, but anytime a community is facing any type of issue, community members will come together and they believe they can fix the problem, which is true. Whenever communities are facing problems, community members come together because they always believe in teamwork. They believe that when we come together, we can come up with a solution and fix this problem. So, people, the world is not so much advanced like we say. Because if I look at evolution, let me try to bring up this point of evolution. When you are looking at evolution of societies, communities, countries, they first go back to how life was like in the ancient times. Then they buy an idea and they bring it in the .com world of nowadays. But it's not bad. We have to develop, to advance, though we have to be neutral. Not everything we see out there or everything we hear is right or should be applicable. Pick what you feel comfortable with. What you're not comfortable with, let it be. So guys, I'm so thankful for your time. Any idea, any comment, any view, any enlightenment, any other way of sharing community empowerment with me, write in the comment section below. I'll be glad to share with you. Thanks.